Gentlemen, how long has it been since we've had all 5 of us on at the same time?
It's been a while. Been a good long while.
Been a hot minute, that's for sure.
For gentlemen,
Chase, you're looking very high def over there, and you sound good too.
Yeah. If only I had the looks to support this level of technology, then that would be a good thing.
I do like how Josh put both of the good-looking guys on the bottom and the 2 bald, ugly guys on top.
So I actually wanted to start with this view here, but I didn't know what was going to happen. So let's try this out here. What happens here? Whoa!
Well, if you're going to highlight somebody, can it be one of the pretty guys, please?
All right, let's highlight the pretty guy.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
in the middle of his IPA.
Little IPA there. All right. Well, I'm Josh. We are on the wrong lead. We got
do a Brady Bunch look. Everyone just kind of look randomly up at a.
Oh, I gotta look this way. Wait,
okay,
I just gotta look here and here, huh? Okay. Oh God. Yeah.
But in the Brady Bunch, none of them were truly loved, and I think. Never mind.
That's what happens to children of divorce.
You kids didn't
Boy,
hear
this
that.
got dark really quick.
Yeah.
Poor Brian. Oh man. But so we got one more week till one of the best days in racing with Belmont Stakes. But instead, we got a carryover Central this weekend, specifically on Friday. On Friday, Brian, we have a Pimlico carryover. I think it's 115,000, which is significant.
In all fairness, it's not my fault. So to give everybody a little story, I thought it was Saturday's car we were looking at. I'm so used to Arlington Park running on just Saturday and Sunday. I just assumed that no tracks run on Friday. So my fault.
Oddly enough, Arlington doesn't run on Sundays. They run on Friday, Saturday.
Shut up, Josh. It's my story.
Oh, get this.
Goddamn facts.
Technicalities already. This is how it's going to start.
Fix your little fucking red wagon.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Brian, this is actually specifically for you. Arlington's running on Saturday or Friday and Saturday, and in June they run Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Why wouldn't they run Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of Thursday? Why did they pick Thursday to run?
I don't
Isn't
know.
that weird? No. And then July they.
Same reason the Kentucky tracks don't run on Sundays.
Well, that makes sense. Maybe the rain happens more often on Sundays, and they're trying to protect the turf course for Starbucks.
Oh, guys, I think I actually have something I like in this race coming up at Canterbury.
400K day? 600K day?
Hey, it's Mr. D's stakes. All right, Chase, what do you got?
At Canterbury, I like this too. Herbie. On the inside, I watched a race earlier. It's a sloppy track. I saw a horse really make up a ton of ground on the rail. So I think the rail might have been bad previously, good now. And so I kind of like Herbie as maybe the speed of speed here up the rail. And so I was going to play a win place on the 2 Herbie, and then I'm going to key it on top in an exacta 2/1-3. And then also key it on top in a trifecta and use the 1-3, but also wheel in the 8 underneath in second and third.
So I mean, if you like inside drawn horses here, because I will agree with you, the rail did look good in the last. Why wouldn't you go into Teddy's Time, the one way on the inside, who has some wet form, given that it's sloppy tonight, and kind of towers on the, if you look at the dirt form, sort of towers over your 2.
And that was a 2 with 138 trifecta. If you're typing stuff up, Josh, because I was concerned that the horse wouldn't be able to close the distance. And I kind of saw it as a good underneath candidate, but I mean, a great horse at the price. I mean, I would take that shot. I'm not sure if there's enough speed to set it up though. That's my big question with Teddy Time.
Yeah, it was sort of an interesting race because the horses that had off track form were a little bit more closer types. So I actually have a double here that pays out to the 136, and then I wheeled it back as a 136 over 5-8 double. I'm picking all the Tommy and wet track form horses, but all of them seem to be a little more closer-ish, as Chase said. And I tend to not like closer types on and off track. So it's sort of, I'm being contrarian here, but also if you're somebody that's looking for a horse with some form on the off going, the 6 horse Unbroken Song is 4-7 lifetime on an off track. So I realize some of those are back in the day a little bit, and probably at cheaper tracks than here, but this is a pretty cheap race. So.
Yeah, Chase, actually, thank you for bringing up that too. I had a pick 5 ticket. I played a late pick 5 ticket here, and I actually singled that too. So I'm just going to run back a win bet through it because my ticket's dead. So I tried to get around
the most Josh horse ever.
I tried to get around that Kelsey Har horse in the first, and the 5 just couldn't get it done because he decided to go 7 wide in a 4 horse race. But that's neither here nor there. We do have some early chatters here. We got John Wilbanks saying hello. Stuart Guthrie, keep pounding, has already got the shout out first thing.
Big shout out, keep pounding.
And he made sure to call all of you gentlemen but me. So Jay actually is mentioning the mandatory super high 5 at Penn on Friday. I actually wanted to, when we were kicking around ideas for what to talk about, I was actually thinking about Penn National because Friday is Penn Mile Day. But then Out of Door scratched, and I looked at the rest of the races, and they didn't really look super interesting. I think there's like 2 state bred races, and then there's another like 3-year-old turf race, I think, for fillies in there as well, and it just.
226K Mando, so that's a fairly nice super high 5. If you want to go chase those type of things.
What's their base on the super high 5s? Is it a 20 center?
I think it's 20. I think Caleb is the Pennsylvania expert.
The
Penn
super
National.
high 5 expert.
Penn National might become the premier venue in Pennsylvania here, given the news of the week.
Yeah,
our park shipper secret is fucking out. Apparently,
it's like when Diodora used
why
to
we
ship
really
into
liked.
Oaklawn. Yeah, I mean, it's the same shit with these park shippers going to Naira.
Did they mention like the trainers that were getting investigated? I didn't see if they named names or if they were just like. Did you guys see the video of the meeting that they were having like after this happened? And the guy was just kind of like nonchalantly like, yeah, they found 9 syringes, and like just started like naming all the contraband that was found. And he's like, yeah, I don't think this is not a good look. He was like very calm about it. I was like, oh, okay. And then it's like you wonder why the governor of Pennsylvania wants to move all that slot money away from horse racing. Like
when you read the article synopsis and like, I don't know, in my head, the guy who was making the statement was like all in a tizzy. It was like, we found some things that should not be in horse racing barns. We found syringes, we found pornography, we found, firecrackers, all sorts of stuff. Like it was like appalled. It was like big appalled junior high school assistant principal energy.
Yeah, he was way too calm for the situation, I believe. But I know we're going to jump into this Pimlico pick 5 here. I know they're loading into the gate. I'll probably also, I don't know if I'm going to do an article or if I'm going to just record a podcast tonight, but I'm going to take a look at the pick 6 for Arlington. I've pretty much made it my mission to hit this damn thing because it's, I think, a 2-day carryover now. So I went 5 of 6 on Sunday or Saturday, and so
God bless you.
What 2-day carryover? So what is it, like $8,400 now?
I think it's like 16,000. I don't know if it's a lot. I can.
Josh,
have it.
Josh, you have like the worst case of Stockholm syndrome that I've ever seen.
I do. I do, and then I just can't help. Like I look at my return on investment
And
at all the
they're up
tracks.
at Canterbury. Herbie jumps to an early lead, taking to the post, taking to the rail with Starship Zeus quite right outside of him. 5-Star Creek actually hustling out to the lead and pushing. We got a 3-way ding-dong slapping contest on the front end with the favorite 8 Simpy Man sitting right behind them and the 7 Bear Trap sitting. And now the 8 Simpy Man pushing up to challenge 5-Star Creek and Starship Zeus on the lead. Herbie sitting chilly on the rail, and afraid might be letting this race get away from them because they are hustling down the backside here. 8 Simpy Man starts to pull out in front of Starship Zeus as they near the far turn, and Starship Zeus battles back. Simpy Man right there off his hip. And we have Herbie starting to pick up along the rail, along with the 5-Star Creek. So we still have Starship Zeus and Simple. Oh, it's Simple Man. That's an L. Starship Zeus and Simple Man. Now they are worn out, and here comes Herbie making a big move up the rail. Not to be outdone by another big move from the outside. The 6.
There we go.
Unbroken Song making a run. The 1, Teddy Time, getting it in front of him. So it's going to go 1, Teddy Time with the 6, Unbroken Song. Herbie finishes third with apparently Simple Man in.
Chase, is this where I talk a little smack? Just a tiny bit of smack here?
I don't care. It's fucking Canterbury. Talk all the smack you want.
So,
first race I've gotten right at Canterbury in a week.
So Jay said that it's a 20-cent bet, and he has never played a super high 5, but good time to start, I guess. And was that the commissioner that had horses with Vega? I'm not sure. I'm looking at our Pennsylvania expert. Let's zoom in on him.
I don't know. I think it was Vega. There was a trainer on, I think, Wednesday or Tuesday that had like all their horses scratched for the day. I think it might have been Richard Vega. It wasn't Ness. I know it wasn't Ness because that's the one I was expecting, and it wasn't him anyway. So,
but good call there, Mark, on that one. What price did you get there?
It went off 6-1.
6-1. There you go.
The other horse I talked out, the 6 was 9-1. So
we don't give props here. We only make fun of bad picks.
Yeah,
damn it.
We want to make fun of bad picks and horses that we like to burn money on.
Yeah, I mean that pick was pretty simpy though. Anyone could have had that one.
Simpy, yeah. The Red and Simpy show. It was a $62 exacta, man. That's not bad for those.
No,
for that at all.
Not bad for a pretty logical exacta. That 6 love to hit the board in the offgoing. So kind of an easy horse to wheel around.
Bad Decision Ben says it was Vega. So shout out to Bad Decision Ben.
So Bad Decision Ben, what the fuck were the Pirates doing earlier today?
You still talking about that damn the baseball play?
Yes, that was awful.
That was funny.
For the record, if you're going to compare Baez to a jockey, that would be the equivalent of Mike Smith being on a lone speed and taking him all the way to the back of the pack. Because he was almost to first base, and then he went all the way back to home plate.
I think the only way you could make that comparison is if the horse somehow just started running backwards halfway through the race, just pulled a U-turn and was like, fuck it. I like right turns.
So he literally did the moonwalk, not just the euphemism that announcers are saying. No? All right. Anyways, let's take a look at this pick 5. Race 5 here is going to be 5 furlongs on the turf. Now, I did want to talk about this a little bit because this race poses two issues when it comes to handicapping a race beforehand. And I'm curious how you guys handle this, right? Because we have 16 horses entered into this race. I think we have 4 also eligibles? 4 also eligibles, and we have 1 MTO, and we have weather possibly coming. Or I think it is coming. I don't know if they're going to be on or off the turf. I think last I saw it's supposed to be a significant amount of rain. So, like, when you have an entry list like this, like, what do you guys do? Like, I mean, like, there's 16 horses, and you don't know, like, what we might get, like a field of 8, and we don't know which 8 are gonna happen. So
I think you do as much as you can ahead of time, but you have to just kind of say to yourself that you basically do all the prelim work you can, but you know that you can't make any of your decisions until after scratches are announced. Like the whole thing is you just have to be flexible with these huge fields where you have MTOs, you have the threat of weather. Me personally, whenever I'm going through a past performance, what I like to do is try to say, I guess the weather's going to be this, and that's these are the kind of speed figures I'm looking for. This is the kind of form that I'm looking for. Whenever you start racing on turf, like for Oaklawn, that works great. But when you start racing on turf, like you have to consider horses that might stay in because they're main track only, and then horses that are switching over. So what I do is I tend to just try to get like a holistic number for each horse, where I only toss out my treble trips to come up with like some sort of like average speed. To where I can just get just like a base figure to go off of, and then just know that it's like the Mike Tyson thing of with a boxing match where everyone's got a plan until they get fucking punched in the mouth, and know that whatever plan you had for the race, it's probably going to change tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a very similar take to. I approach it very much the way Chase does. I actually will handicap it 3 ways. They're calling for rain starting about 11 a.m. Potential of up to a quarter of an inch by the start of the sequence. That's enough that it may take things off the turf. Potentially, I think the 9th is more likely to come off the turf than the other turf race. And obviously depending on weather. But if you look at both these races, there's a lot of horses in here that scream that they're not turf horses that were entered with the anticipation of this coming off. So I tend to cap the race with also eligibles. I cap it as if they're in the race, because for me, it's just easier to X them off and scratch them out than it is to move things around if they draw in. I tend to forget about also eligibles if they do draw in. And when I'm doing my first pass, I don't want to miss horses. I'll also then, knowing that there's weather in here, I will do a second set of handicappings, assuming this comes off the turf. And I'll normally do it for sort of 2 sort of ways. One, if it's sort of fast to good, and a second time if it's a sloppy track. So I end up with 3 times I cap it. But obviously, you've looked through all the horses. It doesn't take more than a couple minutes extra to make those additional passes and those little layers that you build in there for off tracks.
Yeah, I don't have anything fun to say. I'll cap it as if it's on the surface it's intended for, 80% of the time, unless I'm like damn sure it's coming off. Just because I hate to recap things over and over because I'm lazy. That being said, I'll ignore MTOs until I know that they're in, but I will look at AEs similar to Mark. I may not get them my first pass, but I will go and look at them because it is easy to miss them. If you don't at least mark them down initially. So I'll do it pretty similarly. For this sequence tomorrow, I capped it as if it's on the turf. I think the first one does stay on the turf. The last leg's probably dicey. I may go through and highlight, I'm one of those people that marks up their PPs and a bunch of different, scratches and scribbles. So I may go, so I may go through like in Fox at Reader is what I use, and like a different color, like brown.
Me too. We are saying,
brown.
Look at us. We're wearing the same color shirt. This is
Did we just become best friends?
Unfucking canny.
So I'll mark if this horse freaked over and off track, I might mark that in a different like brown versus my normal color or something, just to sort of point that out. But I don't get like real deep into the weeds on that until I know for sure what the surface is going to be.
I come up with like a field average, and so I will most definitely use those also eligibles like when I'm coming up with the field average, because I mean you have to consider the fact that they one or more of them are going to be in, so you can't really take so basically for everything except for like the MTOs, kind of like Caleb does, I will take a full like average for that entire field.
Brian, what you got?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at Emerald Downs. I probably do it a little bit differently than everybody. Is I make notes based on the pace projection of what I think the race is going to be, both on the turf and on dirt. Now I'll make a note on there, like, if a horse is an obvious turf only horse, my note will say, if dirt, I expect this horse to not be forwardly placed. I expect this horse to be sitting, either scratched or maybe 5 or 6 lengths back. And then I see what happens with scratches because, as much as we hate to say, pace makes the race because that's the cliche thing in horse racing. It does. And, one scratch can change everything. And I don't know, maybe I overthink it a little bit, but I'd rather overthink it and have an idea than sit there and be screwing around at the last minute.
See, I don't even try to figure out the pace until the scratches come out. Like at that point, like I'll just make a list of contenders, but like I'm not gonna take a stand and say who wins the race until I know who's actually in it.
Yeah, I'd say one thing that Bri just said that I probably should have mentioned as well, and I do the same thing, is I try to get an understanding of pace because, especially in these really big fields where you're expecting scratches, pace has just a massive, connotation, especially if it comes off the turf. You're going to have a massively different pace scenario than it would otherwise. So, I think one thing you have to do is, especially in these big fields, you're gonna expect a few scratches in here. You have to kind of go back to the drawing board and say, okay, the pace scenario completely changed now since I capped it. How do I reapproach this pace scenario, and does it change the outcome totally of the race, which it normally does? And you have to be real cognizant. I've been burnt a lot of times where, this got taken off the turf. You had 5 scratches, all of a sudden all the speed scratched out, and except for one, and that horse is loose. Those types of things you have to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just cap the race about 30 seconds before it goes off anyway, so I don't really know if my approach really changes. But no, I mean, what I've been doing more and more with bigger days is taking notes and kind of letting, I let the tote board and I let probables and I let, other stuff affect my decisions like in real time. So, I just try and keep it, especially like tomorrow. I think tomorrow really could be real muddy. So I just try and keep in mind, like, hey, these are if this really comes up muddy, these are the horses I want to key around and kind of make an observation on that. So,
hey, Brian, you got to play at this Emerald Downs here. We got a 4 to 5 going into the gate. You think you're going to beat it?
I was trying to beat it, and that's what I was looking for. And then the 3 caught my eyes, trying this distance 10 times and has hit the board once. I like the 1 underneath. I think if you're looking for a price, the probable on the exacta of 5-1's like $44 right now. I think it's a fair price given this 5 should walk over the field. But yeah, I tried to make an argument for 3 and 4, and I just can't. I hate the workout pattern on the 5 coming off this layoff. The 5 is running for a tag, so plenty of signs to play against this favorite. But I'm going to be an idiot and go 5-1. I think.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with a win place on the 4 at 9-1. I feel like I got to take that shot, and then I'm gonna wheel together a trifecta that's gonna be a 3-4 with 3-4-5 with 2-3 4-5-6.
Yeah, I got my ticket up here. The 4 and the 6, 4 and the 6 on top of the 4-5-6. I think it's kind of a little bit of a value play. I think I'm looking at the surface. I'm looking at the breeding, and the 4 and the 6 seem like the wet horses. I don't have DRF on me, so I don't know what the Tomlinsons look like. But the 5 does not look like much of a mud pedigree. It is 1 for 2 and off, but it was a wet fast, and it looks like we have a little bit more of a, looks like more sloppy than anything else. So we'll see if this 5 handles the surface, but.
See, I will say the 4 on the 4 to 1 morning line when we started talking was 8 to 1, and I thought that wasn't enough value. Now it's 10 to 1, so the 4 is dead on the board. So definitely, you might get every bit of 12 to 1 with the late money coming on this 5. I think if you get 11 or 12 to 1 on the 4, you guys have a great play there. That's the kind of price you want to see here.
Yeah, Jay's talking about the 5 here too. in the first race.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to note. I'm sorry, I just cut somebody off, but there's only a few horses here for the tag, and this 5's in for the tag, and it's only $3,500, but that is odd to me. Off of this layoff, had a broken workout pattern this spring. It looks like so. Maybe they know something we don't know, but
that they don't run on turf in Pacific Northwest, because it looks like a turf pedigree, but
So you're implying they need to ship the horse to Canterbury.
should ship it somewhere. Golden Gate Fields, put it on synthetic or something.
well, maybe this horse can ship down to Delmar and win on the turf in the summer.
Oh, funny. They did run this horse at Golden Gate Field, so. All right, they're loading in here. Yep.
You're about 12 minutes at Canterbury, so.
All right. Well,
And eventually we got to talk about the 5th at
Eventually we have to get to that race.
yeah.
All right, they are off. We have the 1, JD at the bar breaking fast. The 2, Awesome Image, charging up and taking the lead. Outside of them, we have the 6, Melchior, and the 5, Owner's Prestige, starting to assert himself a little bit. Heading into the turn, we've got the 2, Awesome Image on the lead with a hard scent Owner's Prestige pressing him. The 1, JD at the bar, starting to fade out of it a little bit. The 6, Melchior, making a pretty good run from the outside, and we have the 3, Mr. Bingley, tracking the pace, starting to make a move. 3, Mr. Bingley cuts out wide as the 2 starts to run out of gas. The 3, Mr. Bingley, is moving up the center of the track. Here he comes flying. And you also have the 4 making a big move up the rail. They're trying to gun down.
Oh, get there 4.
The 2.
Get there 4.
Oh, I think
Got it. That's
and
the
it looks
4.
like Awesome Image took it. I hard to tell. You have a photo between Awesome Image and the 4, Me So Fast.
I think Me So Fast got there, fellas. Good call. I'm mushing you.
I needed the 3 to get up over the 2, and I would have had a fucking killer trifecta there.
Look at the price in the 4. Came all the way down to 5-1. It was 10-1 when I was talking as they were loading up. So
Good move, Whale.
Yeah, my $4 win bet really just like crushed those odds.
Man, that 3 flattened out so hard in the middle of the track. And let's see the photo. Whoa, 4 might have got it. I don't know. That's close. That's really close. They keep showing the 2, but I'm with Brian here. I don't think it's that clear cut by any means.
So let's while that's going on, we can talk about this 5th race at Pimlico. First
Now
leg.
they're showing the 4 at Emerald Downs.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa, but they called it for the 2.
Shut up.
Yeah, they got it. They're calling it 243 unofficial.
Wow.
They're not
And
even showing the photo sign. That's fucking insane.
And I accidentally launched OBS. So let's turn that off. Wow. What a beat. Yeah, Tyler said that. It also looks like 4. Yeah. Got bamboozled.
Well, Tyler would also be wrong with the other rest of the 4 of us here.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Show me
Tyler.
the photo. Show us the photo.
Show the photo, you cowards. All right, so the 5th at Pimlico.
Yeah, so I went 4 wide here, and honestly, really, if this stays on the turf, the only this was one of these weird races where I kind of think that on the turf or off the turf, I'm probably going to be keying around the same 4 horses depending on scratches.
Official. They didn't even fucking look. Oh my!
Obviously,
God.
the 1 is an MTO, so the 1 obviously will only use if he draws in. But I thought the 1 coming off the maiden win, coming off a sloppy surface, if it does come up wet, I think the 1 obviously makes a ton of sense in the spot. And then you have a couple of horses here. I think, Mark, you were saying this, that maybe these horses were entered because they just assume it's going to come off and they didn't even them.
Can I make a suggestion? Just
What's
one
up?
suggestion. Since there's 16 horses, we have no idea who's actually going to be entered. Everyone just pick one horse that they like that they think is going to win here, and eventually we'll cover. For there are 5 of us, we'll hit one of us. Will have the winner at some point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll take the one then. I'll take the MTO. The MTO makes the most sense if this comes off. I mean, the one's coming off that maiden win in the slop, so that horse makes sense.
Can I beat up your one here?
Yeah, go for it.
I absolutely hate this one if this race comes off. This is the type of horse you like to beat. It is a MTO, so it's going to take all that MTO money if this does come off. Look at the fig. It was a 45 fig. There are horses in here that have run faster figures on off tracks than the one has. And if you look at this one, basically effectively led every step of the way, which when you're talking with maidens with that kickback, they don't like to pass, especially on the off going. So it just exemplifies that hatred of passing. So this is the kind of horse that I wouldn't use any part of if this comes up on the off going or comes up good or sloppy. The horses that I was most interested in here would be on and off track, if we're assuming that that's going to happen, would be somebody like the 2, the 10, or the 11. The 2 has some back races on and off track that are just faster than somebody like the 1. You have somebody like Making a Double, the 10, who I think had the fastest off track or a sloppy track race of anybody in the field. I realized it was at 4.5 at Charlestown, but the horse has a lot of speed, which is nice to be able to clear on these off-going races. And the other one I thought was interesting was the 11, Ryan Secret, who is 1 for 1 on an off track, broke its maiden last out. And again, maybe the same as your 1, but I'll take 12-1 odds on betting a horse can pass other horses.
So who's your 1 horse?
I'm picking 3. I'm just gonna throw darts. Wait, was
like,
I
literally?
one?
It's like pick one horse,
One?
right? I pick one horse, and then he proceeds to
It's a
pick
16
3 horses.
It's a 16 horse field.
He picks 3 horses, and 2 of them are mine as well. But he gets to trash the one. Just gets
really wanted to
3
trash
shots
the one
in there.
Just everyone pick your 1 horse you like, for the love of God.
Are we assuming it's off? If we're assuming it's off at the odds, I'll take the 11.
Chase.
I am going to go with the 12, Adabel. I'm going to say that it doesn't come off, and I'm going to say that you get a little bit of a meltdown up front. The horse has kind of passed other horses before. It's one of those kind of dicey. Maybe the other horses were tired, but I do like the horse coming from off the pace. Even if it stays off, if it does come off, I'll still probably take this 12 and say that a horse that can sit off the pace could maybe get past all these maidens that are going to be, hard sent out of the gate.
Brian.
5. Thank you, Your Honor. Great cause. They're calling for a 1/4 inch of rain. So before the sequence starts, might be enough to take it off the turf. If they take it off the turf, I like this horse on what might be considered a fast / kind of muddy track, not necessarily fast or super sloppy, but also has pedigree for being decent on the turf, obviously with Giants Causeway on top. So at 10-1 morning line, I think it's a horse that's got a little bit of a value play for me. Obviously, I think it goes to the dirt. The horse ends up maybe 5 or 6-1.
Caleb, what you got?
So I capped this for on the turf. I think this probably does stay on the turf. I mean, latest forecast shows rain maybe starting around noon, but probably not getting bad until about 4 o'clock. I would guess they keep this on, or I hope they keep it on. I mean, I want to shit talk everybody's pick, but there's so many bad horses in here that, I don't know, you can't really go wrong. Thinking that it stays on, I went to the chalk, the 3. I'll probably single that horse, to be honest, if it stays on the turf. There are a couple of horses I thought were interesting, but if we're talking about one horse, it's going to be the 3. I think it's, speed of the speed. It's got the inside draw. It's coming out of better races than what it's going to face here at the fairgrounds. And, I just think this is probably the horse to beat.
Yeah, I'd also written down the 2 horses. If this stays on the turf and these horses draw in, I think the 13
we
and
only have 1 horse. Now we can have more. What's up with this, Josh?
Hello,
right.
Hello, viewers. Mom and Dad are having a fight right now. What I want you to do is go to your room, get your Tinker toys, and you play for a minute. Mommy and Daddy love you both.
Well, anyways, I thought the 13 and the 15 were interesting if they draw in. I think that's all probably if they draw in and we stay on the turf. But I mean,
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Mark. No, go ahead. I was going to ask if there's any other horses that people.
No, I was going to completely agree with both the two, you and Caleb. I think this stays on. I saw the same weather forecast that Caleb did. I don't think there's going to be a ton of rain before the first. I think the 3 is your standout in here, and the 13 and the 15 were the other 2 that I was interested in. So those are probably my A's and my B's, assuming this stays on. I'll keep it short and sweet.
We have 12 other horses we haven't talked about yet. Anybody want to dive in?
I mean, in my 10 seconds or less take, my backup horses were actually, and I'm going to puke saying this, the 7 and the 8. 1 for 32 and 1 for 25. But these horses are textbook dirty form kind of horses that if you look at their turf sprint record, it's not nearly as bad as the overall record kind of seems. Or they don't have much turf sprint experience in the case of the 8. But I think the cutback's going to do them some good given that pedigree. So those are horses that probably go off 1,000,000 to 1 that I'd be interested in using, as a B or C.
Hey, can I make a comment that's not about any of the horses here? So there's there's 16 horses here, and if you have an opinion about any of them and you single here, you have so much value in the other legs of your sequence. Caleb was pretty strong in his initial thought of singling the chalk here, and that may be a great play because it's going to allow value later on. So, if you have any opinion here worth a damn, good luck.
And also know that there's probably just an excellent chance that your horse and the other 5 horses that you liked aren't even going to be entered in this race. So, have fun with it. Just
which is like
approach it like jazz.
Yeah, when I totally looked at it, I'm like, okay, I have maybe 6 or 7 horses I think can win this race, but I don't know how many of them are actually going to be in here. And Chase, I think you brought up a really good point earlier. It's you can't really decide what the pace of the race is going to be until you actually know what horses are going to be in the race. So
yeah.
It looks like we got a minute till Canterbury. Anybody got anything?
I do.
You do?
I love, actually not in this race, but I love the 6 in the next race. So I want to get doubles to the 6 in the next race. Devil Vision is the horse. Unfortunately, I have no idea in this race. So I'm going to play a $10 double with my best pick in this race, who would be the 8, Vivo. And this is a horse that at least consistently moved forward in all 3 starts. Took some time off. That speed fig is a 2-year-old, isn't that far off from being competitive, has a great off-track pedigree, and it seems like closers are getting there. There's some first-time starters in here that could, obviously run, as well as the big-time clash dropper in the 5. So I do have some doubles for smaller amounts, kind of covering those horses as well. But my biggest double is going to be 8 to the 6. And I think I've actually Dutched it to where I have at least $1 on every combination.
Yeah, I actually like the 2 and the 4 the best here.
I'm boxing up 1, 3, 8 in an exacta, and then I'm just going to run 1, 3, 8, and I haven't capped the next race, but Caleb seems pretty high on it, so I'm going to mush the shit out of him with play a 1, 3, 8, 6 daily double.
Yeah, the daily double I gave out earlier is live to the 5-8 here. I'm going to play back a 5-8 over 4 daily double. I think the 4 is pretty much a nice cold single in the next race.
Josh, thank you for waiting. What was your play?
I'm doing the 2-4. I got the 2 and the 4 here, and then
what's the thought on the 2? I'm just curious.
That's a good question. I wonder what
I can't see any way that horse wins.
It's Reinsdorf.
You actually bring up a good point, and I'm trying to realize because this is coming from my pick 5, and I had the 2 and the 4 here. So let's take a look. What did I think in this 2?
I mean, the 5 is 2 to 1. Maybe you meant the 5.
Where's our boy Schwarmerdat? Where's he? Has he got any entries?
I mean, did someone tell the connection to this 2 that this race is not a turf race?
Dude, you know what? Now that you say that, I might have fat fingered my pick 5 because I cannot find anything.
Like this 1 horse looks like a Josh horse, but this 2 horse, I don't know.
You know what? It might have been the 1 that I meant to punch, and then instead I punched the 2. But guess what? We're not canceling, so we're rolling with this.
The 1's definitely a Josh horse.
cancel. Yeah, I mean, I was all over the Josh horse on this one.
The one is very much a Josh horse.
Well, the stretch out made no sense in the one. That's why I think the one looks good.
Yeah, I mean, if Speed was carrying, I'd be all over the one. But, in the one race I've seen, I'm confident to say that Speed is not good. So
this race has Kelsey fucking Har written all over it. So that's why I made sure to have the 3 in there with my box, the 138.
So
does she always ride Canterbury?
Yeah, she does.
I was impressed with her.
When there's a speed duel and it melts, then the closers can get there. That's what we're analysis is at this point.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm so salty. I'm sorry.
Oh, Rupert.
I was being a little facetious. I have no idea what the track's doing, but closers look fine. So, and there's a shitload of speed in that next race.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lose this race, so
you will know fear, and its name is Rupashar or Repidart.
Did you hit the all button, Brian?
Oh, and they're off. And we have the 1 JJ's Wildcat breaking out to the lead with the 5 Devoted to You sitting outside of JJ Wildcat's hip. And the 5 Devoted to You is poked ahead in front. Trailing behind them, we have the 4 Me and Rose, and up the rail comes the 2, the Fat Finger, Edgy Reggie. Hot Artie runs behind them with the 6, Cause I'm Chocolate out wide and about the 4-5 path. The 7 Ruby's Red Devil, and 8 Vivo bringing up the rear. Now, it looks like JJ's Wildcat and Devoted to You are locked in a mortal speed battle with Devoted to You starting to poke ahead out in front. And JJ's Wildcat fading out of it. Big, bold run coming out of the 8 Vivo, though, from the outside. But it looks like Devoted to You might have put this field away. Or maybe not. I might have spoke too soon. Here comes the 8 Vivo with a big, bold move.
This would be very nice.
Up the center of the track. Devoted to You running out of gas.
Go.
It looks like the 8 is going to pass easily. Ladies and gentlemen, swoop. There it is. Vivo followed by the 5, the favorite Devoted to You, and the 7, Ruby's Red Devil. So
I take back all the mean things I've ever said about this track.
we are
all it took was a little rain. All it took was a little rain, and Mark's back in.
I'm all about it.
Caleb and I are alive to the 6 in a daily double because I mushed the shit out of him.
It was worth a lot.
Freaking daily double paid $69. Are you kidding me? Whew. Whew.
Did you say $69?
I said, well, it paid $69 for the dollar. It's like these low takeouts improve, payout or something. Craziness.
No,
I don't think there's no takeout on that double.
And
No?
the 6 live to the 6 for a $50 double for a $1 bet.
I think I just need to play Canterbury when they're off the turf. I think that might be
same. I need to play Canterbury just when it's sloppy. This is great.
The sad part is like today, like it was their preview day for their big turf card, and of course it rained and all the turf stakes got rained off. But oh well. I got Canterbury up. All right, let's go back to Pimlico, race 6. What you got, Brian?
Oh, race 6?
No, you were going to say something. What do you got?
I didn't know if we were going back to race 5.
I think we killed race 5. I think race 5 is dead.
Fine.
Does he only get one horse in race 6?
I don't know, Chase. Do we only get one horse in race 6?
No, there's only 10 runners here, so you can spread out a little bit.
Brian, why don't you go first? What do you got?
Oh, okay. If I can spread out,
Yeah.
because I'm a fat guy, let me spread out here.
There you go, a little stretch.
I don't like this field, but with that being said, I like the 7 at 30-1 in the morning line, for no apparent reason other than, well, I got no reason. This field sucks. I don't like this card. The 1's probably going to be taking a lot of money. Lots of first-time starters there. I mean, if I was going to play in the sequence, I'd probably do something like 1 and 7 and try and get by the first-time starters. But the 1 is 0 for 5 lifetime. So, you guys are all going to take the 2 or the 3 or the 4 because they got the pedigrees. And if it's muddy, the 2 is going to win. But I really have no opinion here. I'm sorry. I don't like this race.
Yeah, I will agree with you, Brian. I did really not like this race. And this is the race on this, assuming it's not a bog. This is the race that I think I wanted the most coverage in. I mean, if it is a little wet, the 1 should appreciate the off going. 2 should also appreciate the off going. And, Brittany Russell's hitting it, 30% debut maiden claim and 30% with first time starters, which are just stupid statistics. So I think the 1 and the 2 are your most likely winners, but I wouldn't talk anybody off, a price in here. I think this race is, the one that's ripe for an upset. I think you're probably most likely price race in this sequence.
I probably, if I'm going to try a first timer, I try the 4 for Trombetta, originalist. He's got pretty good stats with the first timers and the debut maiden claimings. The work's not bad, not great, but there is definitely some off track pedigree there if it does come up wet. And then I got to use my boy Fergal Lynch on the 5 Wicked Hot. That's the horse that absolutely towers on figures. It's shown that it can actually pass horses. So if this is just a mad dash to the front, I really like the way the chalk Wicked Hot is set up. But if I'm gonna try a first timer and it's not one that's already taken, it's the other Trombetta, I guess, originalist.
I'm a simple man. I see a Munnings horse in the mud, and I'm probably going to bet it.
I missed that. Yeah, the 2. Yeah,
when that horse is trained by Brittany Russell and it's in some shithole Mid-Atlantic state, I'm probably going to bet it twice. So
can I ask a dumb question? Pretty easy. You just said the last race was going to stay on the grass, but then you said this one's going to be muddy. So do you think it's going to be muddy but good on grass? Or
muddy good?
I think it'll be good to yielding on the first race, but I certainly don't think the track's going to be fast. I just think they might keep the first race on. But, looking at the forecast, 3 and 4 o'clock's when the rain's supposed to hit pretty heavy, and this post goes off at 3:11. And even if it's not, it's Brittany Russell in, Maryland or where the fuck we are. 15% first time out winners for Munnings. This is the best connections you can get at this track. So, I'm not going to single the horse. I'm not going to get that crazy because Chase's 5 looks really good. But you got to be careful because I think that the further you go down that rabbit hole, you can probably make a case for 7 of the 10 runners in this field. And that's a real shit way to get a 8-5 horse home on this when this 2 wins. But my top picks were the 2, the 5, and the 1.
Yeah, I didn't do anything creative here. I took the 1, the 2, and the 5, and I'm moving on from there. I think those are your 3 logicals in the spot, and I think you just try and get past this really shitty race and hope you're live.
Damn, Mark, that double paid huge. I just saw that.
Yeah, that double paid really absurdly huge. Yeah.
Nice pick.
Mike saying, don't shit on the Mid-Atlantic. Shout out to Colonial Downs out in Virginia. I actually shout out to PDT because I started off with the John J. Bowman single barrel today.
I started off with some samplers.
Can I shit on New England and let it roll downhill to the Mid-Atlantic?
See, I started off with some samplers that PDT gave me when we grabbed dinner. So, because he's awesome. He gives me stuff that, is absolute white whale and you can't buy around here.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
I just got a text message from somebody saying, oh, you think you got jokes? And so he's like, you got a new Twitter follower. And so I take a look, and it says Brokeback DeRosa. And it's Ed DeRosa and that cowboy getup that I was memeing on there last week. Oh, no. Poor Ed. Let's move on here to race 7. Let's keep it going. I actually singled in this race. Caleb, who did I single in this race?
Oh, I'm surprised because I don't see any dirt cheap speeds in this race. That's tough. I have 4 horses here, so I'm kind of curious. I would guess you maybe singled this 5.
The 5? No, I singled the 7.
6?
I singled the 7, but you know what? Now I just realized that it ran last week, so the 7 might get scratched. But yeah, I thought the 7 made a lot of sense. I thought the 7's going to be it didn't really look like there was a ton of speed in this race. So I was trying to just kind of guess, hey, who's going to get the lead? And I thought the 7 is going to be the horse out in front. But I don't know. 7 days rest. We'll see if they actually run this horse. But
I kind of figured that you take every horse that has anything to do with South America. So I'm kind of shocked that you're not on the 5.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I like the 7 the best here. We'll see what happens if they get scratched out. Then I'll have to readjust. But the horse won last time out 7 days. The horse is obviously going good. So maybe the trainer's just trying to keep the horse going.
Yeah, initially I wasn't on this horse, but I think I might be now. And it's because I really love the jock. It's Instinctive, the 1 with Charlie Marquez. I thought I think he had a really kind of underrated Preakness weekend. I mean, he didn't win a lot of races, but he, Butt Boy Jock definitely held his own and hit the board a good couple times. Outside of that, I think I'm probably going to be on the horse that Josh would pick because he's a Hugo Chavez sympathizer, Blue Sky Venezuela. And I really like it when horses, add blinkers, especially if we think maybe it's a sloppy track, speed's going to be carrying. Then I want that little, the extra couple links that the blinkers might actually put on it. So I'll be 1-5 here.
Yeah, I will be tuning into the weather report and try to figure out how I want to play this. Assuming this comes up dry or somewhat fast, I'll be on the 2 and the 5. And if it comes up a little more wet, I will be on the 3 and the 5.
Holy balls! It is raining at Emerald Downs.
Okay. But yeah, I think this was probably the leg that I felt, that I could be the skinniest, assuming it does come up wet. I think the Blue Sky Venezuela wins this probably, the vast majority of the time to kind of be just better than this field. So, yeah, I didn't feel like I had to get too much more creative than those 3 options.
The announcer just called this a torrential downpour at Emerald.
Well, that's what it does. That's what it does in the Pacific Northwest. It rains.
Yeah. I don't like this race. I think the 5 wins most of the time. The 1 and the 7, the other horses I would have some interest in that have already been discussed. I initially did write down the 6 because I agree with Josh's initial point of there's not much speed in here, and I thought the 6 might have some speed. But this horse just clearly hates an off track. So assuming the track comes up off, the 6 won't make my ticket. But if the track would for some reason be fast to good, I will have the 6 on a couple tickets anyway.
It's so wet that you can't even tell which saddle cloths at Emerald Downs. Good God. And me and Brian are definitely wrong.
What, on the 2?
Yeah, this 5 looks pretty gone. Unless the 2 is I don't think
not getting there. No way.
Not gonna get there.
He had that one jump, and you're like, wait, maybe, and then he kind of just stopped.
Yeah, that 5 is gone.
Yeah. Oh well.
What are you thinking here, Brian? Did you already?
I did not. You guys are all over the 1, the 5, and the 7 from what it sounds like. I like the 7 here, but my top pick is going to be a horse that probably has no business being 5-2 in the morning line, and that's the 2. I'm not going to try to say that name. Something less. How about that? Long layoff. The workout's a little questionable here. Had 5 weeks off after the April 2nd workout and then came back almost slower. But it's one of those horses that if it is a little wet or muddy or whatever it may be, the horse has been in the money twice out of 6 tries. And that's the kind of horse that, 5-2 morning line might probably be dead on the board. Probably see something like 5, 6, 7-1 maybe. And then at that point, I'm probably a buyer at that price. There's nothing fancy there. I'm just looking for a price that's worth playing.
But are you a time form at that price or a Briz?
I'm neither at that price.
No, just the buyer.
Just a buyer. Just a
No.
buyer.
No one like that one. All right, let's.
I didn't even get it until he's
I
Caleb,
got it and couldn't believe he was going.
That was
I didn't-
bad, and you should feel bad because of it.
Caleb, I didn't understand it either. I was just thought he was like, which figure am I going off of? That's kind of how I took it.
Anything else on this race?
no. This race is, it might be one of the harder races for not having a giant field. You can make a case for about 5 of the 7 runners.
Yeah, it felt like the race. If you were going to buy a race on the sequence, that's the one I would be buying.
Alternatively, I could see the case to single that 5, especially
Or to single the 5. Yeah. So, but you can ticket structure that. You can loan A and see the rest.
Hey, can I ask a dumb question just because, I like to waste time? There's 7 horses in this field, all racing for $5,000. If you were going to claim one, which one would you claim?
Ooh.
Just because every horse is running for a tag, so I figured it was worth a question. I personally would take the 7, I think, for $5,000 here. The 7 seems to have enough conditions left over.
I take the 1.
I agree. I would take the 1 just because she's the best broodmare prospect.
I said no. I take the 1 because every other horse has run about 30 times, and this one is only 14 career starts. If I'm claiming and if I want some sort of if I'm gonna have the horse for a little bit, I want the horse with a little bit more tread on the tires.
Yeah, my thought was more the 1 who is, obviously she hasn't done much in her career, but, Animal Kingdom on top, Street Sense on the bottom. And she's a New York bred as well. Shipper to New York, breeder. And then you have, she'd be a good broodmare prospect.
Yeah, people are going to be banging down your door to get their stallion with this 1. That's for sure. That you picked up for $5,000.
That's not working. You pay them for this.
Isn't the first thing you would do? Isn't the first thing you would do with this 1 though is put it back on turf?
Probably.
If you want to run the horse, yeah.
Actually, with this pedigree, it's a Presque horse
synthetic?
written all over it.
Synthetic
Yeah,
horse?
man. Yeah,
You're-
man.
Get
right.
ready for
You're
that
right.
new Gulfstream, that Gulfstream Tapeta that's getting put in.
Yeah, no, this Presque Isle. I could see that Animal Kingdom horse just romping, and then I'll ship it to Turfway for the winter.
Dude, I just saw Caleb's I saw the gears rolling when I said Gulfstream Tapeta, and Caleb's head almost exploded.
If you had to ask, how could we make Gulfstream possibly any worse? That would probably be the only thing I could think of.
I just can't wait to have a pick 5 with all 3 services. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. People
I
are
hope they
so
just
mad.
run the Tapeta during the summer when GP West would normally run, and then the other during the championship meet, I don't have to care about it. But
I'm really hoping they come out with a new jackpot wager. I'm so excited. Like a jackpot daily double. That'd be fantastic.
yeah,
A jackpot pick 3, right? And it's 1 race on each surface.
don't give them any ideas, guys.
And it's the same horses too.
Oh, no. The Golden Hour Florida. The $5 pick 3 minimum.
The Sunshine Hour.
How about they could bring back the triple trifecta or whatever the Hong Kong wager is? The
Triple Trio.
triple trio there, triple trio.
Oh, thanks,
That's hard.
Jacket.
Oh man, this is a tough race. All right, let's move on to race 8 here. I thought race 8 looked like a 2-horse race. So I'd be interested if any of you guys saw anything different besides the 2 short prices here.
Besides the 2 and the 4, no.
Yeah.
No, I think this race goes to the 2 and the 4, and you buy both and move on.
Can you? Okay, let me ask you this question, Mark, because you said buy both. Based on the opinion from race 5 and how hard we said race 7 was, can the average player afford to buy both here and keep a ticket price in a manageable spot?
What's a manageable spot?
Okay, you were pick 5s. Call it what?
$100?
Call it $100.
I don't know. I think when we say buy a race, at least when I say buy a race, I'm probably not hitting the all button. I'm probably putting some sort of structure, and at worst, I'm using half the horses. So yeah, I think you can do that.
So you guys really like the 2 and the 4. I'm going to take the 2 other horses that basically mirror the 2 run styles and and say maybe I toss the, because God knows what's going to happen in the sequence. Maybe I just toss out the 2 and the 4 and swap in the 1 and the 5 instead. I'd say maybe the 5 at sizzling time can steal it on the front, and if not that, then the 5's locked it up with the 4 in a pace duel, and palatial times can pick up the pieces. So I'm going to be super Mark style contrarian and say, screw the 2-4. I'm going to use the 1-5.
So the only other horse, if I wanted to be contrarian, that I would use in here would be, if this does come up wet, the 6 has quite a bit of wet track pedigree. So that might be a horse that I would try to work in there somehow. But
and if it rains like everyone's saying it's going to rain, the 9 is going to be the 9th is going to be a free square anyway. So fuck it, right?
Fuck it, right? Happy.
Yeah, I think with Brian's, going back to Brian's question, I think it's very hard to be like, oh, how do you structure this without knowing what scratches are going to happen and what the surface you actually have are. And I understand I'm trying to play to that smaller player, but I think that smaller player should be trying to take their shots where they have a good opinion, where they feel like they have some sort of advantage. So until I really know what the scratch is down to and what the weather actually brings, it's a really hard question to ask, Brian, or a really hard question for me to answer, I should say.
No, it's a hard question, and that's why I asked you.
Yeah.
You probably can't answer it right now with a fair objective.
I was going to say, if the first stays on the turf, I think you could single the first leg, and then you could buy later legs. If the first comes off the turf, I think you have to be a little wider there, and it probably dictates how you manage the rest of the sequence.
Josh, I know you're just dying to jump in and be like, you have to single the 2 or the 4. You can't use them both. So what do you think?
I would probably press the 4 if I was going to pick horse. I mean, I actually, what's kind of funny is that's what I wrote down. I wrote down 2 and 4, and I said I would lean on the 4 depending on how the rest of my ticket was looking, right? But I feel, I go back and forth on this, right? Because I feel like if you really think that this is like, if these 2 horses win like 95% of the time, I mean, you have to use both of them, right? But the thing is like you have to find value in other parts of the sequence, I think, in order to be able to make that decision. And I like for me, I think in the race before, I think if I single a horse like the 7, and take the second or third choice and single that, it lets me use chalk in other spots, especially like in a spot like this. But
so, Josh, a question for you, and I'd love to know how you're approaching this mentally. The 2 beat the 4 on an off track, and we're assuming that there's going to be at least some moisture or some sort of an off going here. Why take the 4 over the 2? I mean, I know you love some speed, but
I believe we talked about this earlier, and I believe Chase said, and I quote, "That shit don't matter."
Yeah, I do believe it. I do believe that shit don't matter because, for one, especially if we're going to look at it from the perspective of it being an off track or a sloppy track, for one, there's so much variance between, what constitutes a money track, what constitutes a good track, what constitutes a sloppy track, how those tracks are composed, how they're playing, and then also, I mean, if you just look at it from the kind of like myopic point of view of, well, this horse beat that other horse. Well, you're not taking into account what all happened in that race, who else was entered, and what the setups are. So while I do think it's something that you can look at to maybe kind of separate out who you think your winner is going to be, I don't think that that's an angle that you can necessarily hang your hat on when it comes to this horse beat that horse last out.
But to be fair to Mark, I think he actually brings up a good point in this case. Only because, and not necessarily the matchup part.
And I'm not speaking specifically to just like Mark's pick here. I'm just kind of talking like broad, kind of like handicapping philosophy there.
Yeah, but I think like in this case, like one thing that I kind of, I guess, maybe didn't look at is the 4 looks like your typical prototypical need to lead type horse, and you know what? I mean, the horse on the outside might be faster. I mean. So I don't know if the 5 gets the lead, then I don't know, that might just compromise the 4 enough that hey, you need to use the other horse. So I guess maybe if I was using one horse, maybe I would fade the 4 and I would stick with the 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Josh. Depending on what my opinions shake out in the rest of the sequence, I may single this too. And while I think everything you said about using both because you're going to single the 7 earlier, is totally right, I have to point out that it's absolutely not what you said during our Breeders' Cup stream with Ford races and fucking Monday call. I remember these things. You were like, you have to single one. You can't use both if they're 7-5 and 8-5, and so I'm glad that you've come around and realized that a pick 5 has 4 other races.
Right, like absolutes. That's the problem with absolutes, right? Is it like when you get absolutes? I thought in that sequence that was the place where you could be narrow, and if you're going to be narrow, be super narrow. But
yeah, if you have to be narrow, I get it for sure. But again, it's a pick 5, not a pick 1, so it all depends on the sequence, and I think you have the right idea. But anyway,
if we're speaking in absolutes, you should never do PCP. But there's some times that maybe you should smoke some Sherm,
I wish you should have given our boy Bad Decision Ben a little advice on taking acid.
Oh, I've tried to counsel that kid so many times. That boy ain't gonna learn.
No. Hey, I think only Caleb knows what I'm talking about, but still.
I know. Poor child. Oh, you sweet summer child.
Oh, poor Ben.
Hey, why is the 2 dropping in level here?
There's a lot of horses I have that question about. This 2 is in for the tag. The 1's in for the tag. The 6 is in for the tag, despite pricking his maiden in maiden special weight in his first asking. I don't know. I don't love seeing that. I'm with you, Brian, but I still think it's the horse to beat. Maybe connections are just being realistic. I don't know.
I'm of the mind that, hey, it's an optional claiming. It might as well be an allowance, and it's 62,000 in the Mid Atlantic. It might as well be 120,000. Who the fuck's gonna claim this horse for 60?
Brian, I'm gonna dare to say that the war on drugs is a failed experiment, and that prohibition never works. I see your background, you cheeky fuck.
I was just waiting for you to see it, Chase. I was waiting for you to get there, buddy.
It's given the circumstances, it took me a little bit to come around.
What are the circumstances, Chase?
Pharmaceuticals. I had a little needle for those who don't know. I had a little needle work done in the old hip the other day, and so in addition to being all souped up on corticosteroids, they also gave me a little painkiller to go with it. So those go really well with Miller Lights. I will tell you that right now.
So you said you had hip pain. Were you chasing young children off your grass?
No, I was chasing young children around a cabin in Northwest Arkansas last weekend.
Is that on the coast?
Yes. Yeah, that's actually it's really close to Puget Sound. I could see Emerald Downs from the cabin balcony.
Hey,
I don't like how this just happened at all.
We're loading into the gate at Canterbury.
Gotcha. And we are live to the 6 Devil Vision for a big score.
Group win to the 6.
I'm going to I'm going to go 1-6 with 1-4-6 with all. And it's post time. They are loading into the gate. The 1, My Dominator, goes in. The 2, Market Analysis, with little argument, loads into the gate. The 3, the ironically named Saturday Value, loads. Heavy favorite, 1-2. A lot of support behind this Mac Robertson horse, Super Constitution in the gate. The 5, the overly Frenched Louis Legrand. And 6, Devil's Vision. They are all in line, and they are...
And
They're now all in line. And
Look, the one horse we're both live to.
yeah. And they are off at the 8-furlong finale here at Canterbury Park, the pride of Shakopee, Minnesota. We've got a 4-way battle for the lead with the 2 market analysis taking initiative going for the lead. The 3, the ironically named Saturday Value, right outside of him. The 1 getting a nice, my Dominator, getting a nice rail trip with the heavy favorite, Super Constitution, and Louis Legrand sitting outside of him. With the 6, the horse, number 1 in your running in last place. Market analysis keeps his head out in front. You have Saturday Value sitting outside of him with a snug hold. Super Constitution sitting pretty chilly, eyeballing them, getting ready to make his run. Outside, the overly Frenched Louis Legrand starting to range up a little bit. And now, looks like the 1, my Dominator, is shaken to life. And oh man, with a big charge, here comes the 6, Devil Vision, with Kelsey Haar attempting to paint with all the colors of the wind. Market analysis.
Wow.
Market analysis pokes a head out in front. Super Constitution starting to fade. Here comes the 6, starting to make a big run here.
Get outside,
And
girl.
she's really going to have to get onto it if she's going to
Get
catch up
outside,
to the
girl.
2 market analysis.
Get outside.
It's not going to happen. Market analysis running away with it. Super Constitution sucks a big fat dong at 2-5. And Devil Vision is going to finish 3rd. And to round out your superfecta, you've got the 1, my Dominator. Please drive safely, and I hope you enjoyed your time here at Canterbury Park at Shakopee, Minnesota.
I mean, there are no less than 3 need the leads in that race, and 2 of them don't. The one that's not even supposed to be in the lead gets the lead.
Right. Yeah. That just sucked. I hope that came through on my race call, is how much I thought that sucked.
You had a little bit of that Vic, I have money on this twinge to it, so I think it was
The
very
difference
apt.
is he's a professional, and I'm just doing this for fun.
See, I was kind of thinking of Al Michaels in the 3rd quarter saying, and this ball game is over.
He found saying an electric call by his Preakness.
Yeah.
Called it electric.
I think we need to get a signed 8x11 over to keep pounding from the Preakness.
Signed
We
8 by
can make
11.
that happen.
Oh, yeah. We can do that. I got all sorts of tasteful boudoir shots.
Tasteful being the key word.
Tasteful.
Tasty.
So this is another one of those races, a turf race. We got a mile, and this is another one of those races where we have a bunch of them or a couple MTOs. We got a lot of AEs here, and I got like 8 horses written down. So I think for the interest of time, what do you think, Caleb? You think we're off by this point?
Off the turf, probably, but I still capped it for grass. But I would guess we probably are.
Okay, well, how do you see this? Because I got 8 horses, so it's going to take.
It's one of those things like Pimlico. If you're listening, like, please don't come off the turf after the first leg of the pick 5. Like, if you think it's going to come off, just please take it off before the pick 5.
That's just common courtesy.
Like, there's just nothing worse than
Everyone gets effed.
getting an Allburger in the last race and basically crushing the pick 5, especially on a carryover day.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to take it off, just do it. I mean, it sucks, but that's fine. It's better than having one leg and then taking it off. But that being said, if it stays on the turf, well, there's 2 ways you got to look at this. I mean, from the main body of the field, the 12 is probably a single, but all of the also eligibles, the 14, 15, and 16 would be A's on my tickets if they draw in. So that's like a big caveat there. I mean, I on turf. I mean, I don't know if they will, but I think all of them are huge players if they get in. If they don't get in, I think the 12 is the horse to beat. That horse made a pretty nice run into a slow pace last out, probably facing better, much better at Belmont and Aqueduct, claiming 25, dropping into claiming 12.5 here. The 12 probably should win. If I was going to look at anybody else in the main body of the field, it would be the 3 and the 13, simply because there isn't a whole lot of turf speed in this race, assuming the MTOs don't come in. And the 3 and the 13 are probably your 2 leaders. So I would probably lean on both of them a little bit, maybe more the 13 than the 3, actually. Go into the hot trainer, and he actually does have a win on turf versus the 3, who does have speed but doesn't seem to care for the lawn very much. So, yeah, I kind of see it as 12 and then maybe 3-13 if the A's don't get in. If the A's do get in, it's going to be 12, 14, 15, 16. Whoever draws in is who I would use on the grass.
Yeah, I was pretty similar to you. I had, if it stays on a turf, I had 12, 14, 15, 16 kind of written down. And then off the turf, I was looking more inside. I was looking at the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 8. This comes off. I think the 1 in this case is the 1 I think is also the MTO. This was the MTO that I didn't like. So my guess is that, Mark, you probably love this one.
Yeah, I do like this MTO.
Yeah,
This MTO I do like, yeah.
No,
I mean, I'm very similar to you guys, assuming it stays on. The only horse I would add if it stays on will be the 10, who ran very respectably first time across turf and has every right to improve a little bit. Assuming this comes off, which I think I'm in the Caleb camp that it probably does, I'm 1, 8, 10, 15 here. Rombauer's twin brother, Robacher, appears to be pretty good in this race, assuming it comes off, but I don't love the draw, or else I would get more aggressive behind that horse. But yeah, I think 1, 8, 10, 15.
Did you just say Rombauer?
I did.
Is that really his brother?
Yes.
So fun fact.
No, I have no idea.
I've got my, I'm about to get a pain-killing steroid injection into my hip, and I've got my pants down sort of on one side, and my doctor knows I play the horses, and he's talking to me, and I guess he figured that the steroid injection wasn't going to hurt quite enough, because before he sticks me, he goes, "So did you have Rombauer in the Preakness?" And he hits me with the fucking needle. And then he says, "I did. I'm a big fan of Ron Bauer's Infidel." I was like, "Yeah, great. Thanks, buddy."
So, Josh, how about the other MTO? What's your feeling on that one?
That I did use that one, the 8.
Yeah, the 8. Yeah.
Yeah, the 8.
I like
definitely. Yeah.
Hey, Chase. Just want to let you know your needle was the only needle used in regards to Preakness.
I see what you did there, and I appreciate it. I really enjoyed that. That didn't get near as much love out of the other folks as it should have, but it got like a good stoner laugh out of me, just like a.
We both giggled and passed the chili cheese Frito, so it's okay.
Gotta turn that Frito, Dad. You know how I like my grill marks. In this finale, God, it's hard for me to even say who I like because Lord knows what's going to happen. I will say if it stays on, there should probably be a little bit of cut in the turf at this point, so I'm probably going to be looking at off the pace horses, and there's a good number of those. All of them are pretty not really great odds on the morning line. I'm sure that will change come post time because you just have there's a lot of places for the money to go if it has stayed on turf, and even if it has stayed on turf, if a majority of this field hasn't scratched, because that could still definitely happen. But yeah, I liked the 10. If the 14, the 12 and 14 both looked good, I really like the 14 if it stays in. And then maybe the 2, Balivor, which I don't think has a ton of turf experience, but I'm willing to try it with a little bit of cut in the ground.
I'm trying to figure out how there's 2 just wired the field at Emerald Downs. Sorry, guys.
Dude, it just I'm mentally checked out on Emerald Downs when they didn't show us the photo, like some fucking cowards.
Well, I'd like the 5, and that was not the pace picture. I thought. I mean, I didn't think the 5 was going to be there. I thought the 6. I don't know if the 6 missed the break or what.
Is Nick going for the troll here, like the subtle troll?
Who, Vengi? Vengi going for a troll?
Oh, that's Vengi? Oh.
Yeah, that's Vengi. Can't you
Okay,
tell by the
so
fucking cheesy ass
100%.
smile with the baseball cap?
Okay, so 100% that is a troll. Got it. Okay. I can't.
Dude, you just like fried Mark's brain. That's done. It's like this is Mark's brain. This is Mark's brain on Vengi's fucking trolling. You know? Oh man. What Brian, did you give your horses here?
I did not. I was watching Emerald Downs. Sorry, track.
Yeah, dude, C Money is still mad about that. Dude, I'm fucking with him, man. I thought that
Yes.
fucking poor got there. That's some bullshit.
That's like the photo Preakness weekend. I'm still not over that shit. That
Are
one
you
on the
over
turf.
the Oaklawn photo yet? That you harped on for like a week?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, actually, I am. I finally saw the actual photo of that one, and it got beat. People were trying to show me like the low level, like not at the finish line picture. I was like, you're not proving anything to me right now. But yeah, no, the one at Pimlico though, that was egregious.
It's a big word.
Can you spell that word right now?
EGREGIOUS, as in it is egregious that you would ask me that shit.
The country of origin is Latin. Wait, hold on. They still show spelling bee on ESPN. That's a good one.
Yes, they do.
Those kids are all smarter than me, for the record.
I did spell it right. Yeah, spell it right. Okay.
I don't know. I just typed it how I thought it was spelled.
He's Latin.
Brian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Latin derivation, huh?
Close us out here, Brian. What you got?
This is a tough field to try and have an approach on at this point. With the also eligibles, I like the 15 and 16 Gunslinger and Ron Bauer's twin, if that's what we're calling them now. If the main field draws in, I think I do like the 8. Other things equal. Had almost a perfect trip last out and then just kind of got flattened. So I don't know if this horse will benefit from this small little cutback or not. But 3-1, and that price sucks, right? I mean, this horse has won 3 times in 20 lifetime starts, and you go up and down the form. And this is the kind of race I honestly wouldn't play. Not to be that guy on the stream because we're talking about the races, but this is a race I don't play with my cash, and that's probably why I'm still able to do this. You got to be able to know when to pass, and these horses all kind of suck. But no horse in this field should be anywhere lower than 4-1. And you can't tell me the 10 is 7-2, and that's a fair morning line price. But I'm sorry, I was rambling. I agree with Caleb. Let's go 12.
Especially since Carol Cedeno has yet to win a race on turf.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't understand how the morning line puts the 10 at 7-2, especially considering the horse hasn't won since February on a dirt track, and now here we are. It just something doesn't make sense with the morning lines at Pimlico, and I'm not going to try and figure it out today.
They've been bad. They've been really bad.
They're horrible.
But I think Timeform loved the last race on that 10. So maybe
Timeform did like the 10 last race
Right.
quite a lot.
I mean, the last race looks good, but I don't know. 7-2 in the morning line. You figure
I agree with you.
If that's the case, what's the 10 going to go off at? If you say the 12's the morning line favorite, the 12's going to be the favorite at post time. You're talking what, 2 or 3-1 in the 10? There's no way that's a fair price in this 10. So I'm probably going to look at scratches. Now, if I was going to play something here in a sequence, I'm going to probably toss out any horse that's less than 5-1 and look for a price in this leg. And I don't have a better answer, Josh. I'm sorry. I don't like the field, so I'd be swinging with both hands here.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because, how often, outside of Murphy, how often are any of like us or people we know actually playing Pimlico or Laurel at this time of year? unless there was a carryover. So it does get tough, especially in these kinds of races. You know,
I mean, perfect question just to continue this, because why not? Why is the one on turf? What is the one doing here?
the one's an MTO.
Oh crap, my note didn't have that. Sorry. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So why is the one on turf?
Fair enough.
Apparently, there's some chat in going on about the Japanese Derby. Ben Wilkie asking why no one's talking about it, and I believe Keep Pounding saying that Euphoria is the lock, which I believe is the same exact thing that Bad Decision Ben said earlier today. So I think there may be a little bit of plagiarism going on here in chat.
Yeah, that horse should tower over the field, but I mean, it's always
Is Lemaire aboard?
Excuse me, what was that?
Is it Christophe Lemaire?
I don't know who's up actually.
I mean, that's
Is
all.
this
I bet.
just like this Hong Kong shit? What is this?
No,
Japan Derby.
it's the Japan Cup, Caleb. It's in Japan.
Isn't basically the same thing?
Yeah,
Oh
Japan.
my God,
Oh,
racist!
no.
Racist!
Oh no, we're getting canceled.
It is Asian American Pacific Islander Stop the Hate Month, and you have any feelings on Taiwan? Let's hear them. While
I
you're
mean, do
at
they have
it.
a derby?
Ooh, hey, do you see that John Cena? John Cena had to apologize to China.
Yeah, and had to apologize in Mandarin. That's how you know they had his balls in the
Oof.
vice.
I did not see that. I'm gonna have to Google that one.
Yeah. But how about the Renaissance man, John Cena, who can speak Mandarin, or at least read the phonetic spellings of Mandarin that are put on a card in front of him? I don't know if he can speak it or if he's really good at sounding it out.
Hey, so
Sounds like ITP is saying that he's glad some of us are trying to take wins seriously. I mean, this sequence is tough. I wouldn't be playing this if there wasn't a carryover. So I'll take a shot with a carryover. But other than that, I probably wouldn't be looking at this card.
I'll be honest. The racing for this coming weekend doesn't have me too excited at all. I think this will be a very small weekend for me.
Yeah, I'll be taking off. I mean, I might play this tomorrow for a small stab. I'll probably take off until Memorial Day and then play a little bit there, and then Belmont Stakes coming up.
Yeah, I'll probably be light till Belmont Monday. So agreed. Probably the same card Caleb was looking at.
Yeah, and then I got. I'm going to take a shot at the Arlington Pick 6 carry, and then. But that's a track I normally play, and then I'll probably take a small stab here. But I didn't really see too much this weekend. I'm going to play, so hence why we looked at this Pimlico card. Anybody got anything else? Chase, I know you got your stream.
Yeah, stream tomorrow at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, with Blackjack and Danielle for Always Be Racing on ABR Live. And then that's really all I got. Just going to be pretty laid back this weekend, and just kind of like everyone else, looking forward to Belmont.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. You got our Twitter handles here. So hit us up. You guys got any questions or comments? Our main Twitter is @wrong_lead. Check us out at onwronglead.com, and we will catch you guys later.